Happy Sunday morning. I was reading in the book of Luke this morning in chapter 6, and it was talking about Jesus and his disciples were walking by the grain fields, and they were hungry, and so they were taking stalks of grain and rubbing the husks off with their hands, and then they were eating the grain. And of course the Pharisees, the teachers of religious law, were very upset that these disciples were doing anything that looked like work on the Sabbath, because even though God had said don't work on the Sabbath, the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees had stretched those laws so much that they had put a yoke of slavery back on the people by keeping all these rules and regulations. And then, of course, Jesus goes into the synagogue on the Sabbath, and the Pharisees are waiting to find him doing something that they can accuse him of. And so he finds a man with a deformed hand, and they're thinking, okay, he's about to break the law of practicing your profession on the Sabbath by healing this man, practicing medicine in their eyes. And so Jesus knows what they're thinking. He looks directly at them, and then he says to the man with the deformed hand, stretch out your hand, and he heals him. The Pharisees and the teachers of religious law were so mad. It says that they were filled with rage. And that is the mark of someone whose jealousy has so gotten the better of them that they are literally filled with hate and rage in their hearts. And that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit this morning is when we see somebody who is acting in jealousy and they're trying to box in the people around them, that they don't want to see anybody succeed, or they don't want to see anybody rise above maybe where they're at or something like that. It's a means of control. Sometimes subtle, sometimes not so subtle, but it is a means of control. It's like I have created all of these boxes for the people around me, and if they step out of those boxes, then somehow I've lost control of the situation. And that's where the Pharisees and the teachers of religious law found themselves with Jesus. Jesus was bringing a new way of doing things. His kingdom, God's kingdom, had arrived. And he was teaching the people freedom, and he was giving them a different law to live by, the law of the heart. And the Pharisees and the teachers of religious law couldn't handle it because it was messing with their system. It was messing with what they had created, and they just couldn't let it go. They wanted to be in control. They did not want Jesus to bring a new way of thinking to the people. Because if they didn't have control of the people, then the people would be doing something different, and the Pharisees and the teachers of religious law would lose their influence, and they would lose their position of prestige. And I think that we just need to apply that to our own lives today and consider, how do we view people around us, and to be careful not to put people in boxes, but to allow them to run with God wherever God is taking them, to lift up, to help, to be a sounding board, to bring wisdom, but ultimately to launch people, to be an encourager to the people around us. So I hope that helps you this Sunday morning, and just as a reminder about the way that we interact with people and loving the people around us and encouraging the people around us, helping them reach their potential in Christ. You have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next week.